The Uber driver accused of shooting 8 people in Kalamazoo over the weekend has been formally charged. And tonight, the Kalamazoo community is standing strong, remembering the 6 lives lost and the 2 people still fighting for life. Mass murder suspect Jason Dalton was in court in Kalamazoo County today.
And police say these acts of violence were completely random. These are the photos of the 6 people who lost their lives in this deadly shooting spree. 17-year-old Tyler Smith and his father, 53-year-old Richard Smith of Mattawan, 74-year-old Dorothy Brown of Battle Creek, Barbara Hawthorne, also from Battle Creek, 60-year-old Mary Jo Nye, and 62-year-old Mary Lou Nye died on Saturday.
And right now, a live look at a second vigil in Kalamazoo to remember those victims. The first vigil happened earlier today, just afternoon, at St. Augustine Cathedral. The vigil at the First Congregational Church right on Bronson Park in downtown Kalamazoo starts in under an hour from now at 6 p.m. And we are live all over the area tonight with team coverage on all of the new developments in this deadly shooting tragedy.
For the first time, we are hearing from the man accused of this shooting spree. Jason Dalton was charged with 16 felonies today, including 6 counts of murder. Our Lauren Springer starts our team coverage tonight.
And she was live in court for today's arraignment. She is joining us now with more details emerging. Lauren.
Andy, Dalton, exactly as police have described him all along, quiet, unemotional. Today in court, he had the opportunity to speak and declined.
With regard to bond, is there anything you wish to tell the court at this time concerning your connections with the community?
To read off Dalton's long list of charges. In that time, he never once looked up from the ground. We learned today in Dalton's probable cause hearing that he admitted to taking lives on Saturday. He admitted to shooting people. Police say he was carrying a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, firing at all of these victims at random. Investigators calling them, quote, targets of opportunity. Right now, for everyone involved, the biggest question remains why. Why did this happen? An answer even investigators continue to struggle with.
A loss of innocence, really. This is a terrible moment in this community. We face violence like any other community does, but nothing on this scale, nothing like this has ever happened here before. We're struggling. We're struggling with fear. We're struggling with sadness. We've lost 6 people. We have a 14-year-old girl clinging to life.
We stand here about, 36 hours or so after the incident. We're really not any closer to why this happened than we were 10 minutes after we arrested him.
Dalton's bond in all of this denied. Investigators tell us he's been somewhat cooperative. He'll answer some questions, but not others. We, of course, will have much more on this coming up tonight at 6. For now, we're live in Kalamazoo. Lauren Springer, News Channel 3.
Lauren, thank you. We have just received a statement from the family of suspected gunman Jason Dalton. It reads, quote, there are no words which can express our shock and disbelief. We are devastated and saddened for the victims and families of the victims. Our hope is for peace and healing for the victims, the families of the victims, the Kalamazoo community, and those touched by these events throughout the nation. This type of violence has no place in our society, and we express our love and support for everyone involved. Coming up tonight at 5:30, we look into the question on so many people's minds: who is Jason Dalton? What could have motivated this kind of violence? News Channel 3 investigative reporter Cody Combs is looking into the background of the suspected shooter, a man now charged in that killing spree on Saturday.
A 14-year-old shooting victim from the Cracker Barrel is fighting for her life. News Channel 3's Brittany Gray spoke with a family friend today. She is live tonight in Battle Creek. Brittany.
Okay. This situation, of course, devastating for all involved in this situation. Now, I'm told that the teen is in a medically induced coma tonight as her family waits to see what happens next.
It was an annual tradition. Barbara Hawthorne would take Abby Koff, her adopted granddaughter, out for her Christmas present. Adopted because while the two were not blood related, they were very close. Today we spoke with the 14-year-old victim's godfather. He did not want to go on camera, but tells us this year, for their annual outing, they were going to Miller Auditorium in Kalamazoo for a performance. Hawthorne and Abby were with 3 other women. Mary Lou Nye of Baroda, her sister-in-law, Mary Jo Nye, and Judy Brown, both of Battle Creek. Their next stop was the Cracker Barrel in Texas Township. But a joyful experience turned into a nightmare around 10:20 Saturday night.
5 people, 4 adult women and a 14-year-old girl, were shot at the Cracker Barrel restaurant. 4 of those women were killed.
The shooting happened in the parking lot. Abby, from the Battle Creek area, was the front seat passenger in Mary Jo Nye's Chevrolet. She was rushed to the hospital. Early Sunday morning, authorities reported that she had died. A family friend tells us she had, but incredibly squeezed her mother's hand. Right now, he says the young teen is in a medically induced coma. This afternoon, the teen's parents released this statement saying, in part, "We would like to thank the community for your support." They go on to say, "We would like the community to know that our daughter's prognosis is uncertain as she continues fighting for her life."
Police in Calhoun County tell us the young girl attends Harper Creek Middle School. We are told that grief counselors and a crisis team are available. Coming up tonight at 6, we're going to take a closer look at all of these women involved in this tragic shooting at the Cracker Barrel on Saturday. For now, reporting live in Battle Creek, Brittany Gray, News Channel 3.
And the victims of Saturday's mass shootings in Kalamazoo County are being remembered tonight with memorials, one of which is about to begin. News Channel 3's Sherry Hardman is live at First Congregational Church of Kalamazoo right on Bronson Park, and that vigil starts in under an hour, Sherry.
Yeah, that's right, Andy. But many of the people that we spoke to earlier today say they didn't know the victims personally, but they felt compelled to join others in mourning their loss today. More than 100 people filled the pews at St. Augustine Catholic Cathedral at noon today. The Kalamazoo community coming together to honor the 6 people who lost their lives on Saturday. People we spoke to tell us they are relying on their faith to get them through this difficult time and move past what happened here over the weekend.
You know, when you have a senseless tragedy like this where no answer is going to ever seem reasonable, it's really important to draw on your faith, draw on your community. And here you can walk into a church and you may not know everyone, but you feel united in supporting all those who've been impacted.
Oh, it's really important, and I was so grateful that we were able to have something almost immediately afterwards. As I mentioned earlier, the fact that this happened on a Saturday night, you know, it allowed everybody on Sunday to really kind of go to church and think about their faith, and then today is kind of trying to get back to some normalcy. But this, I think, is a great part of the healing process to bring people together.
And one of the people at the service earlier has a connection to the alleged shooter, Jason Dalton. You'll hear from her coming up at 5:30. Live in Kalamazoo, Sherry Hardman, News Channel 3.
Sherry, thank you. Students at Western Michigan University will be gathering on campus tomorrow in honor of the victims of this weekend shooting. Their candlelight vigil begins tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the flagpoles on campus.
And our team coverage continues as the Kalamazoo community continues to heal. News Channel 3's Alex Jokic is live for us outside at the Cracker Barrel, where a makeshift memorial, Alex, is going up in honor of the 4 victims there.
Okay, the healing process often starts like this. Memorials outside Cracker Barrel now mark the site of these random killings, as everyone wonders, how do we move forward from this tragedy?
6 red roses for 6 lives lost. As emotions build across Kalamazoo, so are these tributes outside Cracker Barrel and Sealy Kia.
I think that's what people are doing the one thing they can do, which is support each other.
As our small city makes national headlines, Deb Schauer, an emergency room social worker, says it's totally normal to feel angry and sad in these first 48 hours. But as we go forward,
people need to really, focus on, am I moving out of my anger? Am I moving out of my sadness? And if so, or if not, then what do I do next?
She encourages people to talk about it, to acknowledge your feelings, and ask your kids about theirs.
Being able to maybe shut down their phones, shut down their tablets, shut off the television, and have family time, keep themselves busy so that they're not being bombarded with what's happened
She says doing something productive can help bring you out of this dark time.
There is no hard and fast rule on how to deal with it because this isn't normal.
Something as simple as placing flowers outside a crime scene can help you cope with this tragedy that hit way too close to home.
Counselors are helping kids in Kalamazoo work through their feelings at school today as well. Coming up at 6, how some of Tyler Smith's former classmates are honoring him tonight as they work through their own grief. For now, reporting live, Alex Jokic, News Channel 3.
Well, future MLB Hall of Famer and K-Central grad Derek Jeter is reflecting on the event that unfolded in our community. In a Facebook statement, he says, quote, Derek and the Turn 2 Foundation stand with the community of Kalamazoo during this difficult time. Our hearts and thoughts are with those affected by this senseless act. We know the spirit and determination of those in our hometown, and we will not let this destroy our dream of building a brighter future or the progress we have made together.
Now stay with News Channel 3. We will have a special coming up at 7. We are also learning tonight that it was the sergeant in the sheriff's office who made the arrest of suspected gunman Jason Dalton. We'll be talking more about that tonight. We can also tell you the sheriff says that arrest would not have been possible without first responders across Kalamazoo County coming together. President Obama also applauding their efforts. News Channel 3's Walter Smith-Randolph is live at the sheriff's office now with the latest. Walter.
Andy and Kate, as we've been reporting, it was a sergeant from here at the sheriff's office that spotted that Chevy HHR in downtown Kalamazoo, and that is when the arrest was made of the alleged gunman. I spoke with the sheriff earlier today, and he tells me it was really a community effort in capturing the alleged gunman. He says without that community spirit, this arrest would not have been made. He applauded law enforcement agencies from outlying communities like Kalamazoo Township, the Western Michigan University Police Force, and even Kalamazoo Valley Community College Police Force, who assisted and volunteered in tracking down the alleged gunman. Today, the sheriff, Chief Hadley from KDPS, and Mayor Bobby Hopewell all talked with President Obama about the heroic efforts.
As many of you read, 6 people were gunned down in a rampage in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Before I joined all of you, I called the mayor, the sheriff, and the police chief there and told them that they would have whatever federal support they needed in their investigation. Their local officials and first responders, by the way, did an outstanding job in apprehending the individual very quickly.
President Obama did call us today, and which is on the heels of the visit from the governor yesterday. I greatly appreciate both men reaching out to this community. In both cases, they expressed their gratitude for the quick responses of law enforcement, as well as their concern for all the families involved.
Coming up at 6 o'clock, you'll hear more from Sheriff Fuller as he takes us through the moments leading up to and after the arrest of the alleged gunman Jason Dalton. For now, we're live at the sheriff's office. Walter Smith-Randolph, News Channel 3.
All right, Walter, thank you. Stay with News Channel 3 as we continue to bring you developments on the tragic shootings across Kalamazoo County.
My buddy Scott actually said something to him, said, hey, this isn't the HHR, you're not the guy, are you? And he kind of just said no.
We're sharing what passengers experienced as they rode along in an Uber car with the suspected shooter behind the wheel. Welcome back. The man charged in this weekend's deadly shootings was working as an Uber driver before, during, and after. Police say 8 people across Kalamazoo County were shot.
One Kalamazoo man tells News Channel 3 he took a ride with the suspect in the case, Jason Dalton, just hours before the killing spree began, and he says he warned authorities.
We were kind of driving through medians, driving through the lawn, speeding along, and then finally, once he came to a stop, I jumped out of the car and ran away.
In an exclusive interview with us, Matt Mellon tells News Channel 3 that he knew something was wrong the minute he got into Jason Dalton's car. Mellon says he was going 80 miles an hour down West Main, side-swiping cars. He actually jumped out of Dalton's car at about 4:30 Saturday afternoon. Police believe that Dalton opened fire at the Meadows townhomes a little before 6 o'clock before ultimately shooting 7 more people between 10 p.m. and 10:30. We also know that Dalton was arrested shortly after driving 3 more people to a downtown bar and after the last reported shooting of the night. We are now hearing from those final passengers.
quiet, really. My buddy Scott actually said something to him, said, hey, this isn't the HHR, you're not the guy, are you? And he kind of just said no. It's crazy to think that someone could have gone out and just done all these horrible things and just came in with a straight face, like he's just going to work doing his job, and just didn't say much at all.
And Mark Dunton, Scott Dixon, and Kevin Leonard say they requested an Uber ride Saturday night, and Jason Dalton pulled up to the curb. The three said they'd heard about the shooting spree and the suspect's car, so Dunton says he was a little unnerved when the very same kind of vehicle came to pick them up. The chief security officer at Uber released a statement online. It reads, quote, "We are horrified and heartbroken at the senseless violence in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Our hearts and prayers are with the families of the victims of this devastating crime and those recovering from injuries. We have reached out to police to help with their investigation in any way that we can."
An Indiana couple visiting Kalamazoo also says they requested an Uber Saturday night. They're speaking out after they say that they ended up in Dalton's back seat.
And I half-heartedly joked at him and said, "You're not the shooter, are you?"
The male passenger says that the driver answered no and that he was just really tired. But now he says, looking back, it was a weird way for the driver to respond. The couple says they feel lucky that they came out of that situation unharmed and say their thoughts are with the family of the victims.
Now stay with News Channel 3 tonight. Coming up at 7 o'clock, we'll be broadcasting live an hour-long special, We Are Kalamazoo. That airs tonight commercial-free from 7 until 8 o'clock right here on News Channel 3. Turning to weather now, snow returns to West Michigan later in the week. Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson is joining us in Severe Weather Center 3. Keith.
Yeah, and there'll likely be some accumulating snow out there, Andy, because we have a winter storm that will be bearing down on us. It's still about a good 48 to 60 hours away, but we already have a winter storm watch that's been issued by the National Weather Service, and you see the area that is covered here, much of West Michigan. So far, our border counties here, we're talking Berrien, Cass, Branch, and St. Joe, Hillsdale not included, but wouldn't be surprised if that changes soon. This watch does not go into effect, by the way, until Wednesday at noon, so it's going to be quiet until then, Wednesday at noon, and remains in effect until Thursday evening, 7 o'clock. But you see a good portion of West Michigan. And we're talking about the potential here of having around 4 to as much as 8 inches of snow in a line from, say, Lansing to Kalamazoo, and then, as you can see, off to the east. Now, in the meantime, it's all quiet right now. Live Doppler radar, 100-mile scan. There's a few flurries up here to the north, but that's about it. And we won't be seeing any kind of action here, it looks like, for a little while to come. Right now, skies are cloudy in Kalamazoo. You know, we've had some sunshine. We had 40s and 50s over the weekend, and our temperatures continue to be a little warmer than average with just a variable wind at about 5 miles per hour. Temperatures area-wide, upper 30s, lower 40s, really not too far off the average high, which is in the upper 30s. Battle Creek and Grand Rapids just shy of where Kalamazoo and Coldwater are. Three Rivers, South Haven, and Holland all in the upper 30s. All right, here's a look at Storm Tracker to show you what's going on. You see, again, a little bit of light snow to the north, but that's going to stay up to the north. That won't be an issue for us here in West Michigan. We're sort of really just sitting in a waiting phase here for that next system that will be arriving. Let me show you how it's going to take place. We go hour by hour. We start off at 6 o'clock here. As we roll our clock forward, we'll probably see even a little bit of clearing, so I wouldn't be surprised even to see some sunshine tomorrow. In fact, forecast models show that tomorrow we should have a fair amount of sun. And then Tuesday night, that's when we start to see the snow and rain approaching. And again, it's going to be a wet, heavy snow, I think, that moves in late Wednesday night and will be here with us through Thursday. So tonight, partly cloudy. We're looking at a low around 26. Tomorrow, we're going to be seeing that sunshine with warmer temperatures there in the upper 30s or so. And here's a look ahead, and there you can see that snow that will certainly be coming in here for Thursday as well as for Friday, too. Wouldn't be surprised to see a snow day for those days as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, thank you very much.
All right, well, tonight many people across the world are sharing their condolences with Kalamazoo County tonight. We're taking a look at the impact of social media on moving forward.
The social media is playing a huge role for people expressing their condolences to those in Kalamazoo. Here at News Channel 3, we're using the hashtag #WeAreKalamazoo on our social media posts. We encourage you to also use We Are Kalamazoo as a hashtag when posting online. You are looking at our post there on our Twitter page.
And all of us here at News Channel 3 are offering our condolences to all of the families involved in these horrific shootings. On Facebook, we have a post where you can share your thoughts as well. Many of our viewers are doing that, and we thank you. We're reading those and hoping others do as well. If you'd like to join the conversation, head to our WWMT Facebook page. Right now, Kellogg is partnering with the Battle Creek Community Foundation to raise money for the families impacted by the Kalamazoo shooting spree. Anyone can donate to the Help Now Fund by texting Support Now to 20222, or you can donate online, and we've linked that to you on WWMT.com. And be sure to stay with News Channel 3 all night for continuing coverage. Our live special, We Are Kalamazoo, airs commercial-free here on News Channel 3 from 7 until 8 p.m.
The state board approves a petition to recall Governor Rick Snyder. What one Detroit man will have to do to move forward with that process.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says a West Michigan man will spend 1 year and 1 day behind bars. That after opening 10 credit cards in the names of 3 victims and racking up balances that totaled nearly $49,500. Gary Hoekstra of Granville pleaded guilty to wire fraud in November of last year. In addition to a year and a day of prison time, Hoekstra must compensate the victims for their losses, have 3 years of supervision following his release, and a special assessment of $100. A Benton Harbor man has been charged with first-degree murder and child abuse in the death of an 8-month-old baby. Today, 30-year-old Brandon Bashires was charged in the death of Carter Donovan. Police say Bashires was watching little Carter on Friday morning while the baby's mother was at the doctor's office. Investigators allege that Bashires, quote, caused the baby's head to be struck with such force as to cause the infant's death. When the mother returned, they both drove the child to the hospital where the baby was pronounced dead. Bashires was arraigned today and is being held on $1 million bond.
Today, the Michigan State Board of Canvassers approved another petition seeking to recall Governor Snyder in the aftermath of the Flint water crisis. The petition from Reverend David Bullock of Detroit cites Governor Snyder's declaration of a state of emergency in Flint after lead leached from the pipes into the city's water supply. Bullock will still need to collect close to 800,000 signatures. If approved, the recall effort would become a ballot question that would then need majority support from voters. The motive of the man accused in a shooting rampage across Kalamazoo County remains unknown, but tips have been pouring into our newsroom from those who say they know Jason Dalton, what some believe changed him into a different person.